Working harder and not smarter should have been Naofumi's motto this whole season. Because the cards he was dealt and the circumstances he was in, and just the lack of knowledge of this world that he's living in, he ended up doing a lot of things the hard way. This week's episode is titled The Four Heroes Council, and it's all about teamwork. And the teamwork is something that Vittoria's been talking about, that the Queen's mentioned, and it's important because without this, we've heard that they're not going to be able to beat the next wave. The Queen actually mentions that Naofumi is the strongest one, and if this next wave hits the way everything is now, the other three heroes are going to die, and Naofumi will be the only one to survive. She was kind of talking like Glass, because Glass also recognized Naofumi as the strongest and didn't recognize these other three heroes. So that was really interesting to hear, and made me think maybe the Queen and Glass are working together.
Probably not. So as far as the skills go, we see the Queen meet with the four heroes, and she talks about how it is important for them, like you mentioned, to work together. And if they don't, that only Naofumi will be the one who survives. And so, in a sense, they kind of agreed to spill what they know, the knowledge they know. So Matayasu says that whenever you touch something that is related to what you have, like a shield or a spear or a sword, that you get that weapon, that you get that weapon upgrade. And then the other heroes say, like, if you can create items for feeding your weapon materials.
Yeah.
Then we hear the bow hero talk about the teleport skill, where you can teleport at certain locations if you've been there before. It's kind of like Zelda. If you've ever, saved at a certain spot in Zelda, you can automatically transport there if you have already been there before. So it's, in a sense, in that game sense, it's the same. Even without these skills from Naofumi not even knowing about it, we see that Naofumi was still strong despite him knowing about that. We see the other heroes call him the cheat shield. We see Glass give him a compliment about how he's the only one that can stand up to her, basically. And then we see that the Queen mentions that he's the only one that's probably going to survive. So, it assumes that he's really strong, regardless of their level or how strong they become.
Yeah, and just thinking about that, and then thinking about, because he didn't know these things, all the stuff that he's probably missed out on. He has gone out of his, he hasn't been able to go and gain more different kinds of shields the easy way, like these other heroes. And we see him towards the end going and touching all these shields and getting all these new ones, which was pretty funny. For instance, if he gets a stronger shield, one that's sturdier, it's heavier, that, for all we know, that shield could have helped him and protected the girls and himself in a battle. If he got a lighter shield, he might have been able to move faster. And then there might be another shield out there that he could have grabbed onto, took that shield, and it could have helped him increase his XP. And so these are a lot of things that could have just hurt Naofumi in the long run. And also, Devin talked about there's teleporting, and then there's also the one that copies or puts the materials together and makes something for you. These could have cut down on his time, travel time in half, and who knows how much it would have cut down the medicine. But if we think about this in kind of like our world, it's kind of like living with one hand tied behind your back. Or if we think about it, it's kind of like Naofumi's living in the time period that they're at, and the other heroes are living in like a current time period. They're getting the shortcuts in there. It's easier for them.
So we see that after Naofumi has the conversation with the Queen and the heroes, he goes back to basically this hotel or something, and he starts thinking about what they were talking about, and he says maybe it's some of what they say is probably true, and he gets a requirement skill, like he met the requirement, and we see that believing was part of fulfilling that. And so that was interesting to me. It kind of just shows that the importance of Naofumi and the heroes getting together and just getting along, like that's important, especially with this next wave coming up. So I just thought that was really interesting, how believing was a requirement. That was met.
It was the Naruto style. And he believed it.
Yeah.
But also, if we think about the shield hero, so they all knew the same thing. They all knew that you could copy the weapons, all these three different skills. They knew about it. What do you think Naofumi knows that they don't know? What information do you think he has that they don't have?
Possibly, maybe the part where he actually drops, like he gets, what like for example in the beginning where he popped the balloon and he put it in his, shield, he gained XP for that. Something like that. Like whenever he killed that plant, and whenever he was getting rid of that plague that was going on in that country, he put it into his shield and he gained a cure skill.
Yeah.
And so maybe stuff like that they don't know.
Yeah, it's a good point.
There could be a lot of things that each person doesn't know, but I just think maybe that's one of them.
Yeah, and like you said, the other 3 heroes, they knew the other skills, but they didn't exactly know how they worked, or they didn't all believe it worked the same way. One thought it was rarity, one thought it was, the stats on the weapon. And so they definitely, I didn't believe Fatoria, but it sounds like they really all need each other.
Yeah. Also in the beginning of the episode, we see Raphtalia and Philo finally get their upgrades, or the class upgrades that they've been waiting for since Mines basically screwed them over.
Yeah.
But it was interesting was they didn't actually get what they wanted. Right before we went to the beginning opening scene, we saw an icon that said if Naofumi wanted Philo and Raphtalia to freely upgrade their classes, and it showed yes, but then kind of just went off. So we don't know if he actually selected it. Regardless, they still upgraded, but they didn't get the upgrade they wanted. Raphtalia and Philo were also talking about how they didn't want Naofumi to leave after the waves, and Naofumi was basically saying that he wants to make sure that they're happy before they leave.
At the end of the episode, we see that the heroes are headed towards the island that the queen mentioned. Mira, Archipelago. I don't know. However you say the island's name. They're going there because this is the once in every 10 years or so that if you go there, your XP will be boosted. And so this is a quick way to boost your XP before the next wave hits. At the end of the episode, there was that guy with red hair that we've seen from the openings, and he was there with somebody else, and they're going to be rooming together.
I thought he was going to join Naofumi's party. But
I was hoping you would too. There's still time. They're going to be on the ship. They're going to be taking the trip together.
What's interesting what he said was whenever he was walking away, he said, we have to win.
Yeah.
Almost like, I feel like he was like part of the wave somehow. I don't know.
Maybe
it's something else.
Maybe he's training to protect the wave, or he has his own agenda.
Possibly.
Plan, yeah.
Maybe he's just rogue.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to next week?
I want to see that dude.
You've been talking about it since the beginning. You've been talking about wanting to see them travel and go pick up more party members.
Yeah, and of course, I want to see. Now we actually get to see how much stronger Naofumi can be. Mm-hmm. He, of course, like I said, he's been strong. Now we can see like his full potential, maybe how much stronger he can be, as well as how he would work with the heroes. I don't know how that's gonna work because apparently they all split up before he woke up that morning when he left the castle.
I'm looking forward to seeing Naofumi apologize to these other guys for not believing them, because Naofumi, even though they talked down to him, he started talking down to them and being like, well, I worked hard and I got all this. But because of his lack of understanding of the game, he's also kind of behind. Yeah. He's kind of behind, and he should be apologizing because he doesn't know the world like they do. Yeah. Like he knows the world because it's real, but he doesn't know the game part of the world.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because, like I said, Mine and the king kind of made his life miserable. Yeah. And so he was dealt a bad card in the beginning, regardless. So it was always hard for him. So it's good to, even though he will have to kind of get his mindset into like a game mindset. It's good that he's actually like not only been free from that bondage of fearing people, what they're gonna say, and everything like that. Now he's kind of with everyone else as far as like knowledge wise in a sense, and he can we can see his full potential and strength and like just where he would go from here. I feel like from here up it's just gonna keep going up. It's already been a decline.
The rising. It's the rising of the shield hero.
Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts, your theories. Be sure to check out our social media accounts right there. With that said, I'm Devin.
I'm Noah.
We'll see you next time.
Peace.